Have you ever seen a Grand Duchess flee for her life, forced to abandon her jewels in a locked palace as revolution tears through the streets? But that's not the shocking truth. Her son made a plan to sneak back to the palace and retrieve the Imperial jewels. Meet the Grand Duchess Maria Pavlovna and her son Grand Duke Boris Stopford. Those rescued diamonds would grace Princess Marina, Duchess of Kent, for 30 years. Then, financial reality forced her family to sell them. Today, I want to show you what happened to those jewels and why even surviving the revolution wasn't enough. Let's start with the jewels that travelled the furthest, all the way from the Winter Palace in St. Petersburg. To understand these jewels, we need to go back to 1917, to St. Petersburg, to the moment when everything changed. Grand Duchess Maria Pavlovna, known to history as Grand Duchess Vladimir, was one of the wealthiest women in Imperial Russia. She was married to Grand Duke Vladimir Alexandrovich, a son of Emperor Alexander II, and she possessed a jewellery collection that rivaled even the Tsarinas. When the Bolshevik Revolution began, the Grand Duchess managed to escape Russia, but in her haste, she left her jewels behind, locked in the Vladimir Palace in St. Petersburg. What happened next has become legendary. Grand Duke Boris. Her son worked with a British diplomat named Bertie Stopford. Bertie Stopford, disguised as workman, snuck back into Russia, broke into the Vladimir Palace, and loaded the Imperial jewels into plain brown bags. They made their way out of Russia through Sweden and Scotland, carrying diamonds, pearls, emeralds, and sapphires that represented centuries of Romanov wealth. The Vladimir tiara, now famously worn by Queen Elizabeth II, was part of that rescued collection. So were the jewels that would eventually make their way to Princess Marina. Grand Duchess Vladimir died in exile in 1920. Her jewels were divided among her children. The pearls and diamonds went to her only daughter, Grand Duchess Elena Vladimirovna, who had married Prince Nicholas of Greece and Denmark in 1902. Elena, known as Princess Nicholas, had 3 daughters. The youngest was Princess Marina, born in 1906. In 1934, Marina married Prince George, Duke of Kent, the 4th son of King George V. It was a spectacular royal wedding, and Marina brought with her not just Greek royal connections, but Russian imperial jewels. Among the treasures Marina inherited from her mother were 3 large pear-shaped pearls that had originally belonged to Grand Duchess Vladimir. Marina had 2 of these pearls mounted as drop earrings. The 3rd pearl she used as a pendant on various brooches. Grand Duchess Vladimir had been photographed wearing numerous large pear-shaped pearls. On tiaras, necklaces, brooches, earrings. These pearls were part of that legendary collection, rescued from revolution and carried into exile. Princess Marina wore the Vladimir Pearl earrings throughout the 1950s and 60s. You can see them in photographs from state occasions, paired with her various tiaras. The Kent festoon, the City of London fringe tiara, the pearl bandeau. When Marina died in 1968, the Vladimir pearls were inherited by her younger son, Prince Michael of Kent. Today, they're worn by Princess Michael of Kent, who has a deep fascination with her husband's Romanov heritage. But perhaps the most spectacular Russian pieces Marina owned were a pair of Diamond Girandole earrings. The term girandole refers to a specific style of earring featuring a large central stone with 3 pendant drops hanging below. These particular earrings dated to the 18th century and came from Grand Duchess Vladimir's collection through Princess Nicholas. They're massive. 3 pear-shaped diamond drops hang from each earring, creating a cascade of brilliance that catches light with every movement. Princess Marina wore these earrings constantly. You can see them in nearly every major photograph from her years as Duchess of Kent. at the coronations of King George VI in 1937 and Queen Elizabeth II in 1953, at independence celebrations for Ghana in 1957, at state banquets throughout the 1950s and 60s. After Marina's death, the Diamond Girandole earrings passed to her eldest son, Prince Edward, Duke of Kent. His wife, Katharine, wore them occasionally in the 1970s and 80s. The last documented public appearance of these extraordinary earrings came in June 1990 at Spencer House in London during a 50th birthday party for King Constantine II of Greece. Katharine wore them that evening. Since then, the Diamond Girandole earrings have disappeared from public view. They're believed to have been inherited by Princess Alexandra, Marina's daughter, but we simply don't know for certain. Our next piece, the most valuable Marina owned, didn't survive intact. It was the most impressive piece Marina received, even more valuable than the Russian jewels from her mother. The Cambridge Sapphires as wedding gift from Queen Mary. Princess Marina wore the Cambridge Sapphires constantly for over 3 decades. She wore them for the coronation ball at the Royal Albert Hall in 1953. She wore them for the independence celebrations of Ghana in 1957. She wore them at the state opening of Parliament in 1960. The Cambridge Sapphire parure contains tiara, necklace and stomacher. The tiara featured 7 graduated openwork foliate panels, each one set with 2 cushion-shaped sapphires surrounded by cushion-shaped diamonds in silver and gold. Tall and wide compared to modern tiaras and rigid Victorian frame, it contains large cabochon sapphires. The necklace is made from graduated sapphire clusters, each framed by diamonds. These clusters are joined by diamond scrollwork and rosette links, forming a broad, collar-like necklace. The sapphires increase in size toward the center, giving the piece a powerful visual weight across the neckline. When worn with the tiara, the necklace creates a bold horizontal line of blue, balancing the height of the crown above. The most theatrical piece in the parure is the stomacher. Large cabochon sapphires surrounded by old-cut diamonds create a tall, vertical jewel designed to decorate the front of formal court gowns. When Princess Marina died in August 1968, the Cambridge Sapphire parure was inherited by her eldest son, Prince Edward, Duke of Kent. His wife, Katharine, wore the full parure publicly at least once. For a state banquet in honor of the Emperor and Empress of Japan in October 1971. It must have been overwhelming. Katharine was a baronet's daughter from Yorkshire, not a princess born to tiaras and parures. Yet there she was, wearing jewels that had belonged to a granddaughter of George III, gifted by Queen Mary herself. She wore the sapphires occasionally through the 1970s, but by the 1980s, 70s. But by the 1980s, something had changed. Financial pressures mounted. The Duke and Duchess of Kent were working royals, representing the crown at hundreds of engagements per year. But they received minimal financial support from the sovereign grant. They were maintaining royal residences, royal wardrobes, royal standards, without royal money. Something had to give. By the 1980s, the Kents made the decision to sell the Cambridge Sapphire tiara. The tiara appeared at Sotheby's auction in 1993. It appeared again at Christie's in 1998. According to royal jewellery experts, the tiara was first offered to Queen Elizabeth II before sale, standard practice for historic royal jewels. The Queen declined to purchase it. To salvage something from the parure, the Kents had elements from the necklace and other pieces reconstructed into a new, smaller, button-style tiara. Katharine wore this modified version occasionally through the 1980s, including for a banquet honouring the Emir of Bahrain at the Guildhall in April 1984. But eventually, even the modified pieces were sold. By the early 2000s, the entire Cambridge Sapphire parure had left the family. Here's what most people don't understand. The Kents aren't lazy. They're not frivolous. Prince Edward, Duke of Kent, is one of the hardest working members of the royal family, attending hundreds of engagements per year well into his 80s. But minor royals live in an impossible position. They're expected to maintain royal standards, homes, clothing, jewellery, staff, while receiving a fraction of the funding given to senior royals. Selling the Cambridge Sapphires wasn't a choice. It was a necessity, and it's heartbreaking. Jewels that survived nearly 2 centuries, that were worn by Queen Mary, that graced Princess Marina at coronations and state occasions, gone to private collectors. But at least one major piece from Marina's collection survived intact and remains in the family today. The Kent festoon tiara is perhaps the most mysterious piece in the entire Kent collection. It first appeared publicly in November 1951. Princess Marina wore it to a royal film performance at the Odeon Theatre for the premiere of Where No Vultures Fly. Royal jewellery experts were puzzled. Where did this tiara come from? It hadn't been among Marina's wedding gifts displayed at St James's Palace in 1934. It hadn't appeared in any photographs before 1951. Tiara features elaborate diamond festoons, graceful, graduated swags of diamonds, each topped with a single pearl. Originally, the base of the tiara consisted of a row of collet diamonds. The design is spectacular. The festoons create a sense of movement, as if draped fabric has been frozen in diamonds. The pearls at the apex of each element add a soft, luminous accent to the brilliant cut diamonds below. We don't know the origin of this tiara. The most popular theory is that she inherited it from Princess Louise, Duchess of Argyll, the 4th daughter of Queen Victoria. Princess Louise died in December 1939, and her estate was dispersed among various family members. Another theory suggests it came from Princess Victoria, daughter of King Edward VII, who died in 1935 and left her estate to the Duke of Kent. We simply don't know for certain, and perhaps that's appropriate. Some mysteries should remain unsolved. The tiara features elaborate diamond festoons creating graceful, graduated swags that resemble draped fabric frozen in diamonds. Each festoon is topped with a single pearl. The base originally consisted of a row of collet diamonds, later replaced with pearls. Princess Marina wore the festoon tiara regularly from 1951 until her death in 1968. She wore it for her Far East tour in 1952. She wore it for the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II in 1953, paired with her Diamond Girandole earrings and diamond bow brooch. She also loaned the tiara to family members. In 1962, she loaned it to her daughter-in-law, Katharine, Duchess of Kent, when Katharine and Prince Edward represented the Queen at the independence celebrations of Uganda. In 1965, Marina loaned the tiara to Katharine again for the independence celebrations of Gambia. These loans reveal something important about Marina's character. She wasn't possessive about her jewels. She understood they were tools for royal duty, meant to be worn and shared. When Princess Marina died in 1968, she divided her jewellery among her 3 children according to Greek tradition, which held that sons had wives to support and should therefore receive the major pieces. Her eldest son, Prince Edward, Duke of Kent, inherited the Cambridge Sapphire parure and the Diamond Girandole earrings. Her daughter, Princess Alexandra, inherited the pearl bandeau and various other pieces. Her younger son, Prince Michael, inherited 2 tiaras, the Kent City of London Fringe and the Kent Festoon. Unlike the Cambridge Sapphires, The Kent festoon tiara has never been sold or broken up. Why? Part of the answer is practical. Prince Michael and Princess Michael don't carry out official duties on behalf of the Crown in the same capacity as the Duke and Duchess of Kent. They have different financial arrangements and different pressures, but I think there's another reason. This tiara represents Prince Michael's connection to his mother. It's one of the few major pieces he inherited from her. Selling it would mean severing that tangible link to Princess Marina, and so the Kent festoon tiara survives. Mysterious in origin, spectacular in design, and still gracing state occasions, nearly 75 years after it first appeared on Princess Marina's head. The Russian Romanov jewels, smuggled from Revolution, worn by Princess Marina for 3 decades, now scattered among her children and hidden from public view. The Cambridge Sapphires, a wedding gift from Queen Mary, worn gloriously by Marina, inherited by Katharine, then sold piece by piece when financial reality became unavoidable. The Kent festoon tiara, mysterious in origin, magnificent in design, the sole survivor that's still worn today by Princess Michael at state banquets. These jewels tell us something important about the reality of royal life. Not every princess lives in a palace funded by the state. Not every royal jewel stays in the family forever. And sometimes the choices faced by minor royals are painful, practical, and unavoidable. Which of these 3 would you most want to see again? The Diamond Girandole earrings at a future state occasion? The Cambridge Sapphires return to the family? Or more appearances by the Kent festoon tiara before Princess Michael retires it? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey through the Kent family jewels, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching, and remember, behind every dazzling jewel is a human story of survival, sacrifice, and sometimes heartbreaking necessity.